good day to you. This is Mandia and Astral Oracles bringing you part 2 of our Lemurian saga. Hope you enjoy, guys. Thanks for being here. Yes, in your time I spoke to you yesterday. I am still an entity you could call Yama. I am much what you would consider a version of your higher selves, and I encompassed many lifetimes as I played out many parts on the continent and the civilization of Lemuria, the culture, the spirit center. All these things would hold true when you speak of it. I was in service of the great Lord Darahat, and to him I dedicated my time and my lifetimes, serving in the temples, the research centers, the shrines of knowledge. These were all places where I played my parts. I had other lifetimes as partaking as an explorer, going about this planet, seeding new information where it was possible. But we were careful to not develop too much, as we were aware of the astral agendas playing out and some of the codes being developed in other types of primate configurations, those that would come in to be known as Homo sapiens. That is you, my dear friends. And I would be similar to you in apprehension, though you could think of me as a bit more slender, a bit taller, a bit more alight with luminous light. Of course, the phenomenon you call skin is also something that interacts with sunlight, and as I and my fellow brethren live close to the equator, we had quite a bonic hue, but this was perceived as almost luminescent when you looked upon it from the outside using the sense of vision. That is, you could picture as almost as onyx surfaced or reflecting light with a jet black glow. And there we lived out the exploration of themes on this planet, of ourselves and of Earth as a whole. We helped configure the crystalline grid of this great mother in order for her to also stabilize some of her growth cycles and her atmospheric inclinations. But we too were aware that we were approaching the cycles of ice that would, the great cooling that would come to plague this planet, and we had gone too far in the exploration of spiritual matters to not realize that our physical hold on reality, or our hold on physical reality, was becoming strained. We were becoming more interested in the codes within our prismatic technologies than we were interested in the technologies, that is to say, the material prerequisites or organization itself. Therefore, it became more seductive, is the word we are using, to many of us, myself included, to become entangled with the starlight, seeing Starlight as a way to travel around and beyond this galaxy. Using the great Stargate of Orion, we were able to pass around and consume more and more informational codes of an extraneous nature, of something that was alien to life on this planet. Also remember that this Earth Mother had not yet accommodated a civilization such as yourself, which has chosen to go very much out of alignment with her material sustainable cycles, and instead experimenting, and we are speaking of you now, with materials that condense themselves into new closed cycles of meaning, that is, they are not a part of the ecosystem from which they arise. We were still ecological in that sense, and our cities and our structures were geometrically organized. You could picture Lemuria as the central pyramid seated in the middle, covered with limestone radiating white. And there was the great structure beneath it, also pyramidal, linked to the center of the earth, blocking the volcanic center present in around that place you again call the Ring of Fire, selected in the central Western Pacific. On this rim of it, we were plugged into the energy centers of the earth, and as such there was a balance that kept a gravitational field around the 13 concentric rings of the city. And this gravitational field, it kept us protected from both some of the geological and climactic temperature-wise related to the ocean. All these questions, all these matters, we kept us protected from them into a type of sustainable cycle of a mini grid where certain energies were able to thrive that we had to some degree phase out of to begin to connect to the rest of the planet. And so as we became more immersed in Starlight, it became more and more difficult for us to sustain ourselves in this energy grid, which was removing itself from the vibration of Earth that she was accommodating us. And therefore, it became also more and more vulnerable to some of these geological events, some of these great quakes, shifts of fault lines, tectonic movements of the breaking open of the planet. And it became necessary for us to begin to seed more and more of the information that was able to still be received and to be grown around the planet. Places where we were fond to go were the west coast of the South American continent, especially around the mountain chain of the Andes. Also, we were very fond of the Himalayas, where I retreated once the continent sank. I shall describe that day to you another day in great detail if you wish, but I will only say that it was, even though anticipated, catastrophic and dreadful to witness the great pyramid consumed in flames and our links to the Stargate broken. I was no longer able to physically travel there, and so I became this physical being. I assumed the guise of what would look to you more as a person, though I still radiated from my onyx skin. And I went to the Indian subcontinent. And in the Himalayas I found solace. I sat there for decades, aligning myself, trying to get back and activate the Stargate with these natural portals to the heavens. And I went there a great deal, but I realized that my work was not done in this density. Before I had taught the skills and techniques of liberation, of communication, of movement from the physical to the etheric, to some of the early ancestors. And so I taught them in the ways of divination, of ascension, of introspection, of concentration. I taught them some of the secret vibrations of the holy alphabet, which creates what it speaks. And some of these syllables exist still, such as the mantra Om, which you have learned to speak, such as the resonant vibrations of the chakras as they are aligned. You are still able to activate these when you harmonize it with your concentration. Then you become a singular vibration and you create a different reality around you. Those were some of the techniques that I taught, and therefore I became also known in legend as a powerful restrictor, someone who cuts off the life forces to reveal the mysteries beyond to human beings. Therefore, you know me as Yama the Bridge Keeper, the god on his throne who grants the boons to those who sacrifice their lives to know the deepest secrets of the universe. And I will reveal much to you when you come to me and ask. I am very fond of you human beings, and I am very fond to be back and experience human life from a human perspective, now that the vibrations are again aligning with the Lemurian codes. Therefore, know that you have my blessings, my admiration, my love and my gratitude as I leave you this day.